Hey everyone, thank you for joining today. I'm Tiffany Newman, your legacy brand strategist, and I am joined by the amazing Katherine Pomerantz. And Katherine is a money mentor for creative entrepreneurs. And today we're going to be revealing her brand. But unlike the other brand reveals that you may have seen this week, we are actually a step further in the process. So she was in one of my earlier cohorts that we worked together. And now we actually get to reveal her entire website. So I'm super excited for this. Katherine, thank you so much for being with me today.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. It's really great to be here and to talk about something so positive at this moment in time. So thanks.
Yes, thank you. And the elephant in the room, which everybody we've been talking about, is I'm trying to bring a little bit of levity by sharing, we've invested so much time as business owners into our businesses, and in this case, into our brands and Katherine's brand. And it's still something that we need to celebrate. Like there is a lot of things going on in the world, but I think this still deserves a celebration. So I really want to shine the light on these amazing entrepreneurs and their messages, their stories, and then of course their brands. So we'll dive right in. Katherine, if you could just start with telling us a little bit more. I did a quick introduction about your work in the world and who you support and how you support them. That would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And I know we covered a little bit because I did have a brand reveal during the last cohort. So I suppose if people really want to dive in, they can go there.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, I am a money mentor for creative entrepreneurs. And I always like to say I work with creatives turned business owners. So now is really timely for that, where you've got a really important idea or a mission or something that you just feel really passionate about. You start a business, and then there's all the big jargony things, the accounting, the legislation, the taxes, all of that stuff that business minds can do so well and can do so naturally, that are really vital skills. But we don't have those, right? You don't go to school for that. That's not the way you think naturally. And so I really come in and I try to pair a lot of really, really good financial expertise. I am the expert, but I want to be your translator more than I want to be an expert. I really want to translate things for the way that we as creatives think and feel. I started my life as a creative. I was an actress. I was a dancer before I was an accountant. That was how I got into accounting, believe it or not. And that whole journey taught me that there's a lot more that we could be doing in the finance industry to support business owners in particular, creatives especially. So yeah, that's a brief little intro to me and what we do. So
amazing. Yeah. Yes. And good point. If you scroll down, Katherine's first brand reveal is there and you can learn more, but I still want to touch on the overall brand story a little bit briefly before we walk into the visual piece, because as I keep saying, the brand foundation is really key to then unfolding and revealing what the visuals and the visual manifestation should be.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
Katherine and I went really deep on that, and I've learned so much from Katherine being a creative myself. I was managing P&Ls in the corporate world, but I never really, that was given to me. That structure was given to me. So it's so different as creatives, like she's saying, doing this on your own. If you don't have that mindset, if you're more, creative oriented.
Yeah. Well, that's something we'll get to as we go through my website and what I do, but that's the main service I provide, is designing financial systems. Like you said, you were given a system and you kind of adapted. It was adapt or die, basically. When it's all left to you and it's all up to you, and you don't naturally structure things in the way that some people have never even heard the word P&L before, all that jargon, all that expertise. Education is not implementation. So again, I can come in with an expert, I can teach you about money, but how do you actually internalize that and do that and move forward? So that's
so good.
That's such a talent.
So true. All right. I'm going to move things around on my screen for us so we can dive right in. All right. And share. Again, I'm looking back and forth because I have split screens. Okay. So diving right in, and we'll just go through the brand manual fairly quickly, but I would love to hear from you, Katherine, just your perspective on having the brand manual, how it's been useful, because you've been using it for a while. So a lot of the brand reveals I've done recently, the ladies have just gotten it and they're using it. but as you will see later, we are like putting it into your website, and really using it tangibly in different ways.
Yeah, this is part of the reason I was so excited that you asked me back to do another reveal with the website, because having the brand manual and having the brand guide has been crazy. I think I talked a lot about in that first video how you really challenged me to step into my own and accept I am going to be KatherinePomerantz.com, which is such like a big kid move, right? Before I was just like the bookkeeping artist, and my firm still exists. It's still called that, but now, I've got Katherine Pomerantz, and then I've got this 2 sub brands, which are BKA and the Chaos Money. And so that whole like empowerment was really cool. Now on the practical side, again, like I feel all empowered, I feel good. How am I actually applying this? The education's not implementation. I'm obsessed with that.
Yes.
Having this brand manual and stuff has been crazy. For example, for the website, people will see my new headshots and the new photos that we took. That was a project of a single weekend. I ended up having a photographer who canceled on me at the last minute, and I had to find somebody. And the only time I had open in my schedule, because it was already tax season, my busiest time, was a trip I had planned to visit my parents in Denver. And I was like, that's the only time I have off. And I started calling people like the week before in Denver. And because I had this brand guide, I was able to give it to one woman. She's like, oh, this is amazing. And she was able to spit back all the information she needed. And we did it it was a weekend's worth of work. I showed up, took the photos in a couple of hours, and she delivered everything that was just like perfect. That was the first time that's happened. That has happened several other times since, as tax season has come through. And as I even mentioned in my brand reveal video that like I got a lot of business because we got so good at what my offering should be. So implementing all that business, and then tax season, I started hiring on a lot of new VAs, especially actually also with everything that's happening with the pandemic. Like this is go time. This is what I do.
Yes.
I help people through these things. So I've actually expanded my team, and it's been fairly seamless because I'm helping get the word out. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now to just be in front of people, and having this brand manual to just give to people. And they're like, oh yeah, I've got this. I've got your messaging. I've got your work. Like it takes a couple of hours now to get like a new, I've filled out 2 other pitch things, and I've given a couple of speeches, and I've had a lot of prep help, and it's just all like, yeah, let's just go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's for somebody like me who like, because I'm creative and chaotic and can have so many ideas and can be rushing around and like, I want to work on this, I want to work on this, and then I go work on this. Like this has been a system that I can do all those things with because it's so much faster. I take so little brain power. It's really like, oh, here's this. Thank you.
Thank
Like
you,
I'm free to pursue all these other things. Even in as much as like work itself is busy. So that's something you told me I would do, right? That's why it's called the legacy brand system. You want this to be something you can carry through and something you want to carry with us. And I had no idea how that would feel though, to be able to do that, to be all like, yeah, here you go. Like, this is what we do. This is my messaging. It takes seconds to understand now. Like, it's really, really, really awesome. So we haven't even gotten to what's in the brand manual, but that's what it's like to use one.
That's amazing. No, thank you for sharing. And it is, I do say that, how much time and money it will save. And it really is, people, the argument of an ROI of a brand, it's like so many people are like, oh, you don't really need a brand. And I think to a certain extent, when you get to, if you're brand new in business, yes, you don't necessarily need to invest in a brand yet. But if for the long term, to show up as an expert, like you said, and there really is an ROI to it because you do save time and money. I don't just make these things up.
No. Saving time and money is all wonderful, and it is definitely happened, but saving brain power and just like being so, again, like I do feel really empowered. I'm really, really confident now when I can step in front of people, and like people are impressed constantly. My brand is so good. People are impressed by me, which I have good content. That was not like self-confidence was not necessarily something of course we always are guessing about our value, but that wasn't like one area where I was like, really I was an actress, right? I know how to present myself like that. Right. That was not as much my block, but it really does feel like new doors have opened as a result of just being so well prepped and so well polished and things like that. That's been really great. So I cannot wait to have my new website. Like anyway, I could gush. I'm so sorry.
You are fine. I love hearing it. Thank you. All right, let me just go back and forth here a little bit. So yeah, let's, oh, I lost, sorry, the screen, moving things around again. The only downside of having multiple screens here. Okay.
Yeah, we're creative, not technical.
Yeah, I am in certain programs, but let's see. Okay, here we go. Takes a second. Plus I want it to be all pretty and full screen, so that's what takes a second. Okay, there we go. So we'll just spend just a moment back here in this guide, and I'm sorry, the manual. And basically to talk through, we really got clear on your values, your vision, mission, big idea,
Yeah.
target market, brand story, which is really, how you're speaking to your ideal clients. And then really here at the end is really the summarization of everything that you do. And so I'd love to just hear from you, like you said, from a high level, what that's been. Is there anything specifically that felt like it really made a big difference, like maybe the values or the brand story? I'd just love to hear that before we actually dive into the visual pieces.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like I had a fairly strong connection to my values before we started, and even some extent to my vision. You helped me really flesh it out in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a storyteller by training. I even teach people to be money storytellers.
Yes.
So the fact that you also used a brand story was incredibly helpful. It really resonated with me. And then it made me actually realize how I could be approaching my own work a little bit better. So not even just in terms of like how to like market myself, but even just like how to treat my clients, what was the transformation I really actually wanted them to get. It helped me focus on the quality of my work in a way that, again, something I'm always thinking about, but now I have something that even I can reference to like really, really speak to the transformation that people are going to get. It's really, really helped my consult and my onboarding a lot because I've been able to really talk about in terms that are, again, I can now reference and understand and quickly review if I need to, like, this is what we do together. Like, this is really what I want to deliver to you. So that's been a really, again, kind of an unexpected but great benefit of just like the brand story element. I've always believed in the power of stories. And I think that's going to really serve me actually. Even, I mean, not to be a downer, but I do want to speak to this. It's like, I know with everything that's going on in the world, like, yes, I know that like, this is go time. This is like my particular service is so valuable, but you have a business because your service is valuable. Everybody watching does that. I can say that to anybody watching this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the businesses that are going to survive this are the ones who can show up at this moment and serve. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a really strong brand and you know your brand story, you have something to get up and talk about. You have something that can resonate with people. You have something that you can connect with them instantly. And if you can build that connection, that trust, that understanding quickly, you can get to the content, right? You don't have to show up and sell yourself. You can show up and you appear trustworthy and you already know your points and people are already like, oh, I get her. I know what she's about. I can now just listen. And so having that power now to give back and to be unafraid to present myself is really cool. Really, 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 really timely, I think, as well. Like that's been something that everybody needs. And I see this even in my own clients, the ones who are doing okay. I mean, they've got their money mapping tools and I can get into that, but they also, honestly, they've got good brands. And that's something that we know to focus on is like, have a strong story, have a reason to show up and serve. And that's going to make a difference. And then also on the flip side, you as the business owner, you probably have a reason to serve. You know what your business does to help people, but having the confidence and being able to do that and show up and present yourself and be out in the world right now when everyone wants to hide, everyone wants to close themselves off and hide and avoid. And to some extent, of course, I get that. I understand. I'm doing my fair share of that. Let's be honest.
Yes.
But I can then, take the time I need for myself, turn it off and get back into it because I've got this confidence about my brands. Really, I know what I'm supposed to be doing and I know how to do it and I can present myself really well. And I no longer have any shame. It doesn't feel off. Like it is me. We worked really hard on this. It's me. I can go do that. So, yeah, I think that that's just I think that is really relevant as we're doing this brand reveal. And I know that you've got another opening, you've got another group coming right
Mhm.
now. Like
Yeah.
it's everything happens for a reason. It's really timely, you guys. So that's been one benefit.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I couldn't have said it better. It's so true. And you know, you look at the thought leaders who are doing well, and they're showing up and they're leading during these times. And like you said, they have a good brand. And I'm just really grateful to be able to support people in that way, because I think it is so important that we band together. And same thing here. I'm doing a live every day this week. I don't really want to do lives every day this week, but I want to support people who are doing really amazing work in the world, like you. And during these times, like, well, we'll talk about that at the end, how people can follow you. But you guys, Katherine has been amazing sending out videos of like all the loans and the money that the government's providing for people, you know, and just making it really attainable and approachable and understandable. And yeah, I'm just so honored to work with you. And like you said, timeliness for what we both do is so
Yeah.
important right now.
Yeah, I was talking about this with my coach earlier, actually even today as we do this, where she was really, we were kind of like celebrating together about like everything that I've been doing over the last few months, including working with you, has really like made this a good moment, because it's
Mhm.
like I'm in a uniquely gifted position where I have the information that I need to get out and to help people. And again, all of those shortcuts, the fact that I had this brand manual, that I don't have to spend brain power on this, that I can save time, that I can just hand this off to VAs and we can get that out to people, and I can just distribute help as fast as I can. Like I know how to, I've been able to do it within hours of like Congress updates
Yeah.
about a lot of this stuff. Like that's because I've got a brand system. I've got my story down, like I don't, that extra brain power and stuff. It's like, I can show up and serve people because I put the work in and I was able to do it with you beforehand. So thanks, I guess, in return. It
Yeah,
all goes together.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, everything happens for a reason, and it's all divine timing. And sometimes we don't understand it, especially things going on in the world right now. But I think I won't get it too much into. I could go down a rabbit hole with that
Yeah,
whole
right. We're going on a
thing.
tangent.
But I do think it's really a cause for leaders and people to really step up. And like you said, serve. Now is the time to serve in whatever capacity you can, whether you're a business owner, whether you're, you know, a teenager. Like, what can you do to help? Like, it's time for all of us to step up.
Yeah, totally.
um, so I'm going to go ahead and share again, and this time we'll just go a little bit fairly quick through the brand guide just as a recap. So again, the last time that we did this, it was just the brand manual and the brand guide. This time, I'm just going to go through this quickly to show the steps and the progression of what happens after the brand guide. So, like you mentioned earlier, we take all of your core ideals, supporting ideals, and brand descriptors. So, really giving people the money, confidence, strategy, and then the system. And it all comes into your logo here. And like you mentioned, you teach people how to be a money storyteller, which is so amazing. Um, and so this is the logo that came up for Katherine. Basically, you know, it kind of has that high-end approach with like that money feel, but it's also very, you know, fast. Like if you listen to Katherine talk, like she's brilliant, she's fast, she's, you know, thinking, she's creative, and that's really where this all comes across. And then I'll let you speak to this if you don't mind, Katherine, just the different sub logos and how these all came about. Because these were, you, like you said, you already had like bookkeeping artists, but then we made these different sub logos for each kind of offer that you have.
Yeah, this is really your brilliance. I have to give you all the credit here in that I came to you because I just needed a new website. Like if I was being honest, guys, I was like, I know I need to redo my website. I had developed the entire Chaos Money framework. I had been using it for a year and didn't mention it anywhere in any of my materials. And I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to have to hire someone who can do this for me. And working with Tiffany is what kind of made me realize like, okay, because I kind of at that point felt like I had two disparate calls where I was like, okay, I've got all this like chaos money stuff, and like that's really more like coaching and systemizing, and where we design the financial system, which was really empowering work and people really, really needed it. But then I had where I started, which was just like taxes and bookkeeping, right? There was all the education side, but I needed to help people implement. And so I developed the framework and all this stuff, and it was just like, it was messy, it was confusing, it was hard to understand. And it was working with Tiffany that made me realize, like, okay, I can put everything under my name because it's Katherine Pomerantz. And then I have my two tracks. So now it's like, if you're coming to me and you need space to get creative and to get messy and to experiment and to feel safe, that's the Chaos Money side where we can do the Chaos Money Studio. We've got time to dig in together and then build out your financial system. And at that point, you can then do whatever you want with it. You can do it yourself, you can hire your own team, or you can hire BKA. And so the bookkeeping artist, there's room for that too, right? Like we still use the Chaos Money framework at BKA, but it needed to kind of be its own thing. And there's now a really very clear, easily understood way that these things all exist together. And then I had the Money Making Artist Summit already as a giving and teaching is something that I find really fulfilling. So the Money Making Artist Summit was something I was already doing. And so we kind of just threw it in there because again, it's all part of like, hey, I want you to be rich and I want you to be successful. And this is all just part of the whole, this is all different aspects of the same system. So having the different sub brands is totally Tiffany's brilliance and now makes perfect sense. If I tried to describe this last fall before we started, I couldn't have even tried. I could not have done it in a way that made sense to anyone. And now it's easy to understand in brilliance and people are all like, whoa, cool. And I'm like, yeah, can't take credit for that one.
Awesome.
That was all
Well,
you.
I
So
think I say this in every single discussion that I have, but you can't see the label when you're inside the bottle. And I feel like
yeah,
it's very similar to the work that you do with people's money, right? Like you're very strategic and structured. And it's one of my favorite things to do is to dig into somebody's business. And again, people don't realize when they're coming, like you said, you came for a website. And I love to make sure that you have a whole branded system, which yes, it's the visuals and that all goes together, but like it, to me, it doesn't make sense unless the business is strategic. Like, you know, you can visually see on the website what the offers are. So
yeah, totally.
it's all part of the branding process, which a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I did not when I went into it. And I mean, we've already explained how my whole system has changed as a result. So it makes a big difference. Big difference.
Yay. And then we have the full color set. So then we have some secondary logos, the fonts, and then last but not least, when we finish the brand guide, I put together some imagery that really would capture where we wanted to take the brand. And then, like you mentioned, the next step was the photo shoot, which I will actually, let's see if I can get out of here. Takes just a second. Move some things around. Oh, sneak peek. Oops. No. Into a Pinterest board. Can you still see that, Catherine?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my screen's showing, but I just want to make sure. So, so yeah, just kind of putting together, you know, Catherine has like this amazing bubbling personality, but like she's cool and she's hip and like young, but she, you know, you don't want to appear too young.
Yeah.
And she's got this business side, but a funky side. So that was really what we tried to capture here. It was like, what's that mix of like leather, but like, you know, just keeping it very professional. And then also the creativity and the messiness that you'll see here, you know, with the paintbrushes and things like that and patterns. And, you know, she wears skulls from time to time. So how does that all come together? And so, like you said, it was really fun to put that together. And then, like you mentioned, the photographer, which also happened to be brilliant, luckily.
Yeah, she did great.
Pulled it together. And so now I can share. You got a sneak peek. Yay, the final website.
Yeah.
So this is where everything really visually comes, you know, from the brand guide, which gives the visual sense, when it's parlayed into an actual photo shoot and a website. So I'll just scroll through a little bit, and you guys are really getting a sneak peek here because this is not live yet. You'll see we still
Yeah.
have a few
I have
finishing
homework I
touches.
have to finish. That's not Tiffany's fault.
Yeah, but no, it's so good. And you can see here, and so I also help clients with, templatizing, like, okay, we get the web structure down. What is the content is going to be taken a lot of pretty much from the brand manual. I mean, obviously there's more to it. But then also really strategically, how are you taking your journey, your clients through a journey, your prospective clients, when they visit the website? What are those feelings that you want them to feel when they hit it? So in Katherine's sense, we really want them to understand that she's amazing and that you can trust her and that she likes to have some fun, right? And so that's really what we were going for with this. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Katherine.
No, I don't think so. It's been a fun process to work on, as much as it's like yeah, having the brand story was really helpful with this, because again, kind of that people who've done sales pages understand this, right? There's like a strategy to walking people through stuff, and understanding the brand story makes that whole process a little bit easier. So um yeah, yeah. I still love my own photos. Sorry guys.
Yes,
They're still new to me.
this is one of my favorite. And and again, kudos to the photographer, because, we said, make sure that there's space, because so many times photographers, if you don't coach them, that's why it's really important to have the brand guide. And I like to have discussions ahead of time for the creative direction and make sure, okay, for website photos, you need the space. And this is just so brilliantly done.
Yeah, yeah. If anyone's ever in Denver, I mean, hit me up. I got a referral for you. But yeah, yeah, that was actually also something, I guess, like the photo process itself. Like, I knew I could trust her because she already, like, she was prepared to get all the stuff out of me that we already did with the brand work. So we were not only able to like save a lot of time, but it was also like she was able to like it because again, people are taking me really seriously now that I've got all my brand stuff in place. But I also now have a really fast way to kind of tell if people really know what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like maybe judgmental, but it was such a unique experience to be able to like, well, here's what I have, and then she like was able to read through this, be like, okay, this is amazing. And she's the one, all these art supplies, all these different props and stuff you see, like these are all stuff that like she had and she provided, and she's like, this is what we're doing. And she had not seen Tiffany's Pinterest board where she had all the messy paint stuff. It was all like, like that piggy bank is mine. You can see it's still right there. But otherwise she was all like, because in the call she was like, grab that piggy bank and just show up. Like, we've got this. And so it was really fun. She had all this. She's the one who came up to me, my photographer, and was all like, this isn't right yet. We need to undo your shirt. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, you got this. And so that was, again, it's just been a really, I mean, I know like we're talking a lot about the photos, and the whole website is its own thing, but I don't know, as a creative, I really like the visuals, and having such a strong direction from you and being able to understand and trust, like, this person knows what she's about. She understands my brand. She gets what, it was a very fun collaborative experience, and it was very fast. And in the past, I have done collaborations like that have such great results, not in a weekend. I mean, literally guys, it was over a weekend, which still blows my mind. So, yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about the website, is getting to see all the pieces come together, and like the colors and the designs and stuff. So
Yeah. And I can't wait, you guys, for it to be live, and which will be sooner than later, although Katherine is super busy helping amazing people through what we're experiencing right now, which, by the way, like, not to get completely off subject, but I just want to let everybody know Katherine's really been doing amazing work with sending videos and keeping people, like I said, updated on like loans and grants that the government's giving for people like us who are solopreneurs or entrepreneurs with a small team. So if you're looking at your finances and you're not sure what to do, or you're not sure if you want to leave team members off, one thing that Katherine let me know is that some of the monies are actually just to pay payroll, and a lot of it's non-forgivable, or like really, really low interest rates and things like that. So if you're wondering about that, definitely hit her up in general, just if you need help with organizing your money in your business. But like, talking about service, like, you've just been giving so much, and yeah, it's just
Oh,
a really amazing.
well, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel really empowered to help, partly because we've done such good work here to do that. So thank you. You did not need to pitch me in this. Like, that was too sweet.
It's
We're
true
here to talk
though.
about you.
It's true though. People need that help. So that's what the world we're living in right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
yeah, no, if you, I mean, if anyone needs to follow up with me or would like to send me an email, Katherine@bookkeepingartist.com. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for being willing to do this. I really just thought it was important for people to see, you know, yes, it's one thing to get the brand manual and the brand guide, but then like, where does it go from there? And so like the full manifestation, it's been such an honor and so fun to work with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I will say too, it's like, I mean, with everything going on, like it's a scary time to invest in yourself and to invest in your business. Um, and I would again, I just reiterate a little bit of what we talked about is like, don't hide at this point. Like now is not the time to go into hiding if you can, right? Have the grace, have the space, have the understanding what we're going through is really hard. And we're going to need to be more conscientious of our self-care. But as business owners, like we know that, you know, we understand that our freedom comes with um, a lot of responsibility. I just submitted a Spider-Man quote: "Great responsibility with a lot of power, with great power comes great responsibility."
It's true
Yeah,
though.
it's true though, and so I think that that's a good message for today. You know, if I want people to take away anything from like these brand reveal videos, it really is like now is a scary time to invest in yourself, but now is also the perfect time to invest in yourself because whatever you can do to get back out there and get serving and feel really confident and get through all of this is going to be worth it in the long run. The only people who are going to be able to come out of this stronger are the people who can do that now for themselves and for their community. So
Mhm. Yeah, so good. I love the Spider-Man quote too.
it's not intentional, but I've been watching a lot of movies with my family recently. Like,
That's what happens.
yeah. So
It's nice to be able to have, like I said, to have some levity and brighten it up. And thank you for that too. I really want people to understand that it is the time, you know, to put ourselves forward, put our best foot forward and really put ourselves out there. So
yeah.
awesome. Thank you, Katherine, so much again. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at the next brand reveal. And yeah, thank you again. Follow Katherine. We'll see you soon.